Well, I'm looking forward to this one. Welcome to the L&G Just Covered podcast, where we talk to advisors, key stakeholders, and everyone in our industry, really, that puts the customer first in the financial space. And I'm joined today with a familiar face for those of you that have watched or listened to the podcast before. Hazel Johnston, you're back. How are you?
Yeah, thanks, Wayne. Yeah, I'm back. I'm all good, thank you. I've been. It's been a whirlwind year. I've been off having my baby, so she's coming up to 1 now. So yeah, great to be back and actually get back into some really good and rich conversations.
Oh, brilliant. And of course, with having a baby and having something so majorly life-changing and so positive and so lovely, you're going through some of the things that our clients are going through via our advisors who we talk to all the time. So that the journey that you've had over the last year must feel absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it has been. And don't get me wrong, I think anyone who's become a parent, it comes with the highest of highs and then some of the toughest challenges. But I think absolutely when we think about what our advisors do, it definitely puts a lot into perspective and makes you realise just how important these conversations are. I think my husband's really sick of me saying, right, we need to look at our pension, we need to get our everything in order, protection wise. And I think that just comes with experience. And that's where I feel so fortunate working in this sort of industry, is you almost have a first-hand experience seeing it before you then go through it yourself.
You do.
Almost.
And also with your husband, because obviously he's not necessarily in our industry and you've been thinking about it. So have you seen it as your role to prompt him, or has he thought about it on his own accord to think, okay, yeah, maybe we do need to do something because of obviously hearing you in the past talk about things?
I would love to say he's listened to everything I've said in the past, but no. No, I think definitely it's been more my role, but then I guess that's my job, right? And that's what I've worked in for many years. So it's been interesting trying to put your own advice into practice, and the advice you give others into practice as well. Just around, as I said, that kind of how do you save, how do you financially plan? Now you've got a child to think about, and how do you amend your protection policies to suit? Now, don't get me wrong, that wasn't the absolute number one thing we were thinking of when Margot arrived, but definitely when I was starting to think about, right, what do I want for her future and what do I want to make sure we have, it was definitely important to take time to think about those things.
And that's a really interesting point, isn't it? You've got a daughter yourself, you're thinking about your own journey, thinking about females in the industry. We did an episode a few months back just around International Women's Day. What thoughts have that provided for you at the moment in terms of now being a mother and thinking, okay, how can I sort of help her to have the best pathway forward?
Yeah, I think that's definitely something that's become so important to me. And it always has been, championing females in our industry. We know that there's still a bit of an imbalance, that kind of female-male, it's still not exactly where we'd probably want it to be as an industry. But what I would definitely say is, having a little girl myself, it makes me really focused on how can what I'm doing today impact the future for her, regardless of what path she wants to go down. And how do we make financial services or financial advice accessible to females in the same way it maybe would be to males? And I think that's something that's definitely, there's work to be done, that we've done a huge amount. There's huge improvements even when I first joined the industry, be coming up almost 13 years. But yeah, I still think there's things that we can be doing. I also think, from my perspective, hats off to parents in the workplace, because I think I thought I got it and I definitely didn't until I've done it myself. And I think when you're coming back into work, there are so many thoughts that go through your brain and you do doubt yourself. You think, am I going to actually manage this? Because this baby's been your whole world while you're on maternity leave, and all of a sudden this thought of slotting a job back into that, which is for some like quite a busy, high-powered job, it feels impossible, but you make it happen. And it is quite amazing how resilient the mind and body can definitely be. And I guess, hats off to all my colleagues as well, because it's been really, really nice coming back, and everybody's been super welcoming and supportive.
I guess you don't know what you're doing and how successful you are until you take a step back and maybe you're not there. So coming in, you would be thinking, doing work, doing projects, all these types of things all the time, not even thinking about it. Then you're away for a year thinking about how am I going to do those things? But you just go in and you do, and plenty of other women do that as well each day, every day. So for you to take a step back and think about this and think, okay, what impact can I make now for Margot's future, which is absolutely fantastic, by the way. I think that's great. It's just so powerful.
Yeah, and everyone's got a choice, right? That your day is your own gift, and that's something I've always believed is you wake up in the morning and you choose what your day looks like, right? And yes, things will happen throughout that day out with your control, but you control how you react to it. And I would say that's something I've really had to lean into being a new parent and coming back to work. I've really had to think about, right, this is happening. What am I giving my energy to? And I would say actually becoming a parent and coming back into work, I've never been so efficient and so just decisive with my time. If anything, I would say it's improved that side of me because I've just had to be really ruthless and think, well, that doesn't add the value I need it to. That can go into next week. What is adding my value right here and right now? And what am I doing with my day to make sure that I can get that balance between giving L&G as much of me as I possibly can, but then the minute it's 5 o'clock, no, that's Margot's time. So it's getting that balance. As I said, I've never been more efficient with my time as I probably am now.
You should coin a phrase from one of our peers in the industry. What's going to make the boat go faster?
Yeah, exactly.
Making sure that you're prioritising, and you're now having to do it, I suppose, but obviously managing to do it, which is absolutely amazing. I think that it's just so important that we highlight the fact that, I mean, it's great that you've gone through the journey now, I suppose, because I think if we cast our minds back a couple of years to a podcast, I think we had Natalie and Charlotte from Bates Wilcox, who are parents and run businesses, a business themselves. For you to now having gone through that and actually can see it from coming back to working for a big corporate, it's real testament to what people are doing every day.
Absolutely. I said hats off to anybody that does it. And that's not just women. I think there's definitely needs to be some recognition for men as well, because recently I was on a call with somebody and they had a 3-week-old baby, and he obviously doesn't get the same amount of time off. So he'd had his 2 weeks off, week 3 into his newborn journey, that's him back at work. And I can cast my mind back to when Margot was 3 weeks old, and I just don't know how on earth that men do that. So as much as, yes, for women, there's a huge amount to think about, I absolutely do think hats off to the new dads as well, because I think everyone focuses massively on the mum. But I think, when I had the chat with that colleague, I just thought, you must be exhausted. And here you are giving it 100%, looking at, all the things that we do in our business day to day. And you're now having this call with me at 2 o'clock in the afternoon after probably having been up most of the night. So yeah, I think it's definitely a time to give, regardless of gender, just give people grace and time to adjust.
Yeah, shout out to the dads too. And I can remember with my daughter, I'll see a photo come up and there's a picture of me holding her. She's only about months, whatever. And I look at my face and my complexion and my eyes, and I can tell I'm absolutely exhausted and surviving on copious amounts of caffeine.
Yeah, exactly. It's just it's a whirlwind. That's all you can describe it as. And you look back and you do think, don't you? You're like, well, I got through it. And you don't know how you do at the time, but you do. Yeah. But yeah, I just think, I think for all of us, just having a bit of patience and grace for people, going through that is... And yeah, don't forget about the dads. That's all I would say. Brilliant.
I suppose the one key thing for me is Hazel. It's amazing to have you back. I can't believe it. It's gone so fast, a year, hasn't it? Is there anything, what sort of key areas are you looking forward to? What's giving you that spark back to come back and really push on with the podcast for us? What are you really looking forward to?
Oh, whether it's something I'm looking forward to is maybe... people think I'm odd saying this, but there's so much changing in our industry. So if we think about inheritance tax planning, definitely not looking forward to that change coming in.
A lot of people
but what I am looking forward to is how is navigating. I love taking a challenge on, and I love looking at, well, what's the problem statement for a client and how do we navigate that, and what can advice look like? How can we get great outcomes? So what's exciting me over the next few months is starting to plan for that and think about, well, how can we support the advice space, and how can my team learn as much as we possibly can about these changes that are coming in to make sure that more and more customers who are now going to fall into that tax bracket can get really, really good advice. So the change isn't exciting me, but what that change brings and the energy and the focus that it will bring us as a business, that definitely is exciting.
And L&G retail, as we know, are in such a good position, aren't they? Whether it's the annuities space, the asset management side, obviously I know it's not quite retail, but wider L&G, and then also protection space, home finance, all of that together, all of those are different solutions for the same problem that clients are going to have, aren't they? So,
exactly. My whole team were in a workshop yesterday with our protection colleagues, and they were getting fully upskilled on protection. So for anyone listening doesn't know, my team focus on pensions and annuities, and that kind of pension planning side. But we've absolutely seen that protection is critical to that. So they've been fully upskilled. So again, that's really exciting to be able to think any advisor dealing with us has that one source of the truth, and a full team of many specialists that can help, which is, really, really energising time.
And ultimately, we're here to champion the advisor in the intermediary space, which is absolutely brilliant. So thank you so much. It was just a short intro to you again, I suppose, in a way, and welcome you back. I'm so excited about where we're going to go with our guests in the future. So thanks so much, Hazel. And away we go again.
Thank you.